So in this video we're gonna deal about the lab preparation of the formic acid and anhydrous formic acid. It is one of the most important and regularly and frequently asked questions. Usually it comes in a set of 10 marks, though it only bears 5 marks, but along with this question comes the reactions of the formic acid. So it is a very important reaction and portion of this topic, carboxylic acid. So basically formic acid, it is the first member of the carboxylic acid series. Now carboxylic acid means COOH, so it is the first member of the carboxylic acid series in which one hydrogen is attached, so its formula is HCOOH. This is the formic acid. Now first it was obtained by distillation of the red ant, so its name is from the name of red ants, in Latin formicus. It means red ants in Latin, so from that it came formic acid. Now it is also present in the stings of bees, wasps, etc., and its IUPAC name actually is methanoic acid. This was just the basic detail about the formic acid. Now usually it is asked to prepare the anhydrous formic acid in laboratory, but before preparing the anhydrous formic acid we need to prepare the formic acid. So I'm gonna tell you about the anhydrous formic acid. First let's deal with the formic acid. So in laboratory, formic acid is prepared by heating the crystal of oxalic acid and the glycerols at about 100 to 120 degrees Celsius. Means that it is prepared by heating oxalic acid and the glycerol crystals at about 100 to 110 degrees, 120 degrees Celsius actually. So we need to know the formulas of these both first of all. So oxalic acid, you need to remember this, it is COOH dash COOH. So basically we can also write COOH whole 2, but we write in this way the structural formula. And glycerol, it is basically a propanol. It means it is an alcohol which is formed by repletion of hydrogen atoms in the propane by OH atoms. It means if the propane is CH2 CH CH2 CH3, actually this is propane, okay. So the OH atoms, they replace the hydrogen atoms in each of them. It means it becomes CH2OH and CHOH and CH2OH. Now this is basic formula of glycerol. It means it is an alcohol or propanol. We have read this in junior classes. I'm just telling you for information. So basically glycerol is CH2 CH CH2 and OH is added in each of them. Okay, this is the structure of glycerol and this is the structure of oxalic acid. So you can read this reaction in 3 steps. This reaction completes in 3 steps. So first of all, oxalic acid and glycerol, they both react with each other to give glycerol monooxalate. Now see how it gives. So the oxalic acid COOH COOH and the glycerol CH2OH CH2OH and CH2OH, CH, sorry. So while writing about this reaction, you just need to write the first line, that in lab formic acid is prepared by heating oxalic acid and glycerol crystals at about 100 to 120 degrees Celsius. Now it completes in the following steps. In first number we can write that oxalic acid, it reacts with the glycerol to give glycerol monooxalate and water, but that water is a byproduct, so it doesn't need to be mentioned. See, first of all, this is the first step. The glycerol and the the oxalic acid, yeah. So oxalic acid and glycerol, they react with each other at about 110 degrees Celsius. So they both will react at 110 degrees Celsius to give glycerol monooxalate. Now see, there is a trick that in first step water will be removed and in the second step CO2 will be removed. Remember this will be easier to remember. So in first step water needs to be removed. So what happens is that, remember this OH, water is H2O, so HOH. So see, this OH and this hydrogen, leave them, remove them, H2O, and the remaining one, this whole oxalic acid, add this whole into this. Okay, this is a trick. CH2, this both will be same, CH2 CHOH CH2OH. The remaining one just add there. Remove OH and H2O removed, and then add the remaining one. So remaining is COOH. So COOH. Now this is called glycerol monooxalate. Okay, pretty simple. Just one thing done, that water is removed, OH from glycerol and H from oxalic acid, remove them, the remaining one add in the first CH2. That is a trick to remember this. Okay, the mechanism is very long and it's none of our use, it will just make it confused, so I'm telling you why tricks. So this is the first step, glycerol monooxalate is formed. Now we'll move on to the second step. Now what happens is that this glycerol monooxalate which is formed, now after some time it decomposes to give CO2. I said you in the second step CO2 is removed. So after some time it itself gets decomposed while heating to give CO2. So see, first of all write CH2, the formula COOH, this is CHOH and CH2OH. This is glycerol monooxalate. So while heating at about 110 degrees Celsius, it itself decomposes to give CO2. So while removing CO2, you can remember that CO2 will be removed. Just remove the CO2 and write the remaining one, CH2, COOH, CHOH, CH2OH. Now this is known as glycerol monoformate. Now how to remember these names, I'll tell you that. See, you know oxalic acid is COOH. You know oxalic acid is this. So while writing this, you see here COOH is here, so write glycerol monooxalate. And while writing about this formic acid, we know that HCOOH. So while writing this, COOH is here, formic acid group is there. Okay, so it is known as glycerol monoformate. That is known as oxalate because COOH was there. This is known as, sorry, not COOH, COOH. We know that it is COOH. So see, COOH is added there. So it is glycerol monooxalate. Only H is missing. In place of H, CH2 is here. Okay. And now see here, in formic acid, we know it is HCOH. In place of H, this CH2 is there. Rest remaining COH. So it is known as glycerol monoformate. This is also a trick to write the name. Or else you can directly remember, first there is glycerol monooxalate, then there is glycerol monoformate. Now it's all about the second step. This glycerol monoformate is formed by the decomposition of glycerol monooxalate to give CO2. Now in the third step, this is the final step of this reaction, this glycerol monoformate which is formed, it hydrolyzes. It means it reacts with the water. Now which water? It reacts with the water which is formed here, H2O. Now it reacts with that water to give glycerol and formic acid. Okay, so this glycerol monoformate, CH2, COOH, CHOH and CH2OH. Now it reacts with water to give glycerol and formic acid. Now what happens is that 110 degrees Celsius heat. Now again the glycerol will be same. See, we need to remove the acid. We know that now formic acid is formed, HCOOH is there. So remove HCOH, remove HCOH. Now what happens is actually is that see, CH2COOH is there. Now this COOH gets removed. When it gets removed, the water is HOH. Now what happens is that H of this water adds here and OH of this water, it goes back to there and adds there. It means CH2OH will be formed. CHOH, CHOH. Now what happened is that see, CH2COH, COH got separated, and hydrogen of water, it adds to COOH, so it forms HCOH, which is formic acid, and the remaining part of water, which is OH, it goes and adds here in the glycerol monoformate, so it becomes glycerol, CH2OH, CHOH, CH2OH. Now this is all about the preparation of formic acid. I'll tell you summarizing it. So summarizingly, when we see, first of all, what happened is the oxalic acid, it reacts with the glycerol. So this is glycerol and oxalic acid, they reacted to give glycerol monooxalate, COOH. Okay. First of all, it will give H2O. Remember, first of all, it will give H2O. Now this is glycerol monooxalate. What happened is that the H2O got removed, OH and H from it, the remaining part to the first one, as I said earlier. Second part, this glycerol monooxalate, it decomposes and CO2 is removed. So it decomposed CHOH, CH2OH, and it decomposed to give glycerol monoformate. CH2OH, and CO2 got removed. Now what happens? This glycerol monoformate, it reacts with the water to give glycerol and formic acid. So CH2, COOH, CHOH, CH2OH. It reacts with water to give formic acid and glycerol. First of all, what happens? COH got removed, then H of this adds here and OH of this goes and adds here. The way to remember. So this is glycerol, this is formic acid. Finally we got our formic acid and we got our glycerol back as well. So this glycerol, it is recovered back, which can be used again, and hence glycerol is known as catalyst. I told you in the starting of the video that glycerol acts as a catalyst. So catalyst does not consume in the reaction, its amount remains constant. So see, the catalyst which we used, glycerol, so glycerol we used at first, it came back, it is recovered back, so it is known as catalyst here. It took part in the chemical reaction but it was not consumed. So this is all about the principle, but in laboratory when we do, we need to write also about the procedure. So while writing about the procedure, just make a simple figure first of all, and that figure is of a round bottom flask. So in a round bottom flask, the glycerol and the oxalic acid crystals are taken. Glycerol and oxalic acid crystals are taken. To maintain a particular constant temperature, sand bath is used. It will be good to draw a sand bath, and just a Bunsen burner. Okay, this is just a rough figure. And then a distillation flask, it means that a condenser is used. Here it is a condenser through which the vapors of formic acid goes and it is collected in a receiver. So this is just a simple rough figure just to make you understand. This is the actual figure which you need to make. So while writing about the procedure, just write that a mixture of about 40 grams of oxalic acid crystal, about 40 grams of oxalic acid, and about 50 ml of glycerol. Glycerol is alcohol, so it is written in ml, and it is crystal, so it is in gram. 40 gram, 50 ml. Remember this, 40 gram and 50 ml, they are taken in a round bottom flask, and a condenser is used. The formic acid crystals, formic acid vapors, they pass through the condenser and is collected in a receiver. Now that's all about the laboratory preparation of the formic acid, and it's done here. But now basically the question is asked about the laboratory preparation of the anhydrous formic acid. So after writing this much, we need to write how the anhydrous formic acid is prepared. So the meaning of anhydrous means the formic acid which does not contain water of crystallization. It means that this formic acid is completely pure and does not contain any water of crystallization. So now we are dealing about anhydrous formic acid, which means it is completely pure, no water of crystallization. So how do we prepare? Basically, if you want to make anything anhydrous, we have two processes. It is distillation or using of dehydrating agents. But in this case both of them cannot be applied, because see, while if we use distillation for other things, it's very simple that we use distillation, there is water and that substance, so the substance has less boiling point, so it gets evaporated, and then through the condenser it gets condensed and collected without water. That's all about distillation. But in this process distillation cannot be applied because the boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius and the boiling point of formic acid 101 degrees Celsius. So near, just 1 degree Celsius difference is there. So the water as well as the formic acid, it gets evaporated, and again both of them will be condensed and got back. so this process cannot be applied. And use of dehydrating agents, it's very famous. Like one of the most famous is conc H2SO4. Sulfuric acid is one of the most famous dehydrating agents. Other are P2O5 and CaO. These substances, they absorb the water from the material and they make them anhydrous, but in this case it cannot be done, because whenever this formic acid HCOH, it is treated with conc H2SO4 or anything like P2O5, anything, it will itself form CO and H2. It will get decomposed to CO and H2O, carbon monoxide and water. So this use of dehydrating agents for formic acid is prohibited, because carbon monoxide is a poisonous gas. So the use of this, it is prohibited. So we cannot use either of the processes. So now what do we do? So a chemical method is applied for the preparation of formic acid. Now this chemical method, it includes that the lead carbonate solution, it is treated with the formic acid, lead carbonate. Now what is the formula for lead carbonate? Lead means Pb and carbonate means CO3. Both have the same valency, so it will be PbCO3. This is the formula for lead carbonate. Now this lead carbonate, it is treated with the formic acid. For precision, we can call it aqueous formic acid, because it contains water and we need to make it anhydrous. So this lead carbonate is treated with aqueous formic acid till the lead formate crystallizes out. Now what happens is that, see, the lead carbonate, it is treated with aqueous formic acid, lead carbonate is PbCO3. Now it is treated till the lead formate crystallizes out. If we carry on with the reaction, it will be somehow like this. See, hydrogen will be removed and Pb will add here, so it will be HCOO, and from the valency of Pb is 2, so whole 2 Pb plus CO2 plus H2O, and for while balancing we will write here 2. So basically this is called as lead formate. Now this crystallizes, it means this treatment of formic acid, aqueous formic acid with the PbCO3, it is done till the crystals of lead formate is obtained. It means that when we treat these both, they start to make crystals, somehow circular, these crystals. Now these crystals, when the entire tube gets filled with these crystals of lead formate, then the treatment is stopped. After that, what it is done, the tube in which this lead formate is formed, it is passed on with H2S gas, hydrogen sulfide gas. Now when the hydrogen sulfide reacts with this, then we can obtain a formic acid again, but that is anhydrous formic acid. So see, when H2S gas reacts with this, it is HCOO whole 2 Pb plus H2S. So again hydrogen will be replaced here, so it will be HCOO H and Pb and S will Pb and S, it will combine. So again we got the formic acid back, but this one, it is an anhydrous formic acid, and the lead sulfide, it is left in the tube. So this was just a basic idea. So while writing about this, we'll be writing first of all the paragraph. Before the paragraph, we can draw a figure. The figure will be somehow like this. A tube will be there. Okay, so make a tube. This is our tube, and make a condenser as well. When the H2S gas is passed, H2S is usually warm. Okay, so when H2S gas is passed, then and the lead carbonate crystals along with the aqueous formic acid, it is being treated with the warm H2S gas. Then this condenser does the work of cooling them and drying them. So then make a receiver. Okay, so if you see the correct figure, if you see the precise figure, it will be somehow like this. Okay, so what happens is that this tube, then you can write a paragraph that this tube, it is filled with the aqueous formic acid and the lead carbonate. Now what happens is that when they both are treated, then lead formate crystals are formed, and then H2S gas is passed through the tube, and the anhydrous formic acid is received. So these are the crystals of the lead formate. It means HCOO whole 2 Pb, lead formate. And thus obtained formic acid, it is an anhydrous formic acid. Now that's all about this whole topic, and you need to remember the chemical formulas, and if you don't remember, I have told you the tricks to remember them. Okay, just do not forget the basic information. And if you want to see how to write in examination, the format of writing, then at the end of this video I'll be giving you the pictures. You can screenshot them and keep them to read how to write in the examination. Thank you for today. Do not forget to subscribe the channel.